Alright, it looks like we are back online, and it looks like video is functional again. Yep. Alright, so we're working out a build order, and hopefully I don't have to do too much editing to get this to export to YouTube properly, but looks like we will. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into StarCraft. And let's take a look at this build and see if it's actually feasible or not as far as our gas income is concerned. So we're going to get into a little custom game with a very easy AI, and we're just going to first of all practice executing the build we put together yesterday, and then see about whether or not it's feeling optimal. All right, so we're going to add our AI, and let's go. Alright, so we'll talk this through a little bit. We're going to take a barracks at 12, orbital command at 15, second command center as soon as we can afford it. Second barracks and our first refinery at about the same time. Third barracks and our first engineering bay at about the same time. Add on 2 more barracks, then a factory, then an armory, then our second engineering bay and our second refinery, and then a starport and a third refinery. Alright, we'll see how that works out. Alright, get our cameras set up, just do things that, we normally would do in a game. Alright. So the question is do we have enough gas income at the end of our build order to do constant medevac production in addition to our constant upgrade production? That is the big question, and that's what we're going to try to figure out. And once we are confident that our build makes some sense, we're going to take it to the ladder and do our practice on step 4 of the staircase method. And with any luck, we'll push our way not only to top 8 gold, but maybe even further, just practicing our macro. It's always a good time to interact with our opponents when they are defeated by what looks to be a nonsense strategy, which, in a lot of ways you can say it is a nonsense strategy, and that's fine. But when your strategy is to build more stuff, and you can effectively do that, it sort of really does actually become a strategy. It may not be very complicated, it may be very simple in terms of unit composition or whatnot, and it may be very cost inefficient, right? There are definitely matchups where Marine Hellion or Marine Hellbat is going to be very cost ineffective against other compositions. Like basically, yesterday I was auto-dying to any army that had Colossus in it. Alright, so what are we doing? We're getting our orbital, getting out our first Marine, walling off, and then we're going to get our command center, our expansion, as soon as we can afford it, which would be rather rapidly. 1 or 2 Marines should be just fine, depending on the matchup. You may or may not want more. There is not an emphasis on scouting while doing this kind of practice because it's fairly irrelevant. It's not going to change anything. Keeping our SCV production constant, and now we can go into constant Marine production as well. So we're going to add our second barracks and our refinery as soon as we can afford them. Alright, so there it is. Now let's go ahead and get that second barracks, and let's get our refinery. There it is, easy peasy. Alright, rally everything out, keep up the SCV production, prioritize it, and we're going to get our third barracks and our engineering bay as soon as we can afford it, which should be very momentarily, like right about now. Alright. Now, the timing on this with the engineering bay is a little bit wonky as far as getting our orbital command as quickly as possible. Alright, but that doesn't seem to be much of an issue, so we're not going to sweat it too bad. Prioritizing economy here with the SCVs and the mule drops. And there's our orbital. It actually lined up real nice. That's cool. So Marines, SCVs, and very shortly here... Oh, you know what? We failed at saturating this gas. Alright, so demonstrating that it lines up pretty well is pretty much right on out. Alright, so we're going to go up to 5 barracks now.
Not enough minerals.
There we go. Let's go ahead and take our second base and build another supply depot. Rally out all of our production. Grab a couple of these SCVs. Get them on transferred. Keep building more SCVs, more Marines, and get our +1 rolling, albeit late. It is rolling. Alright, there's our supply depot, and we're going to go ahead and queue up another one. It's that time. And drop our mules on our fresh expansion. Alright. We're going to oversaturate just a little bit as far in terms of optimal saturation level at our main, so that we can be prepared for the gas that we're going to be taking here pretty soon. Alright, so we need 1 more barracks, and we can get our factory, and then next up is an armory, as soon as we can afford it. Keeping that production going the whole time, don't queue more than 2, and keep the supply depots cranking out. Especially as our production amps up, we're going to need more of that. Alright, we're almost at the point where we can afford our armory.
Additional supply depots required.
Okay, look at that. We're a little bit supply blocked, but that's okay. Spending our money. Here we go. Factory's not done yet. Now, there's our armory. There's our second engineering bay. There's our refinery. There's more supply. There's a bunch of SCVs that weren't going where they needed to. Oh no. Oh no, that's embarrassing. But it happens. Alright, we're just getting warmed up for the day. Oh boy. Marines. And Hellions. And upgrades. Get all this stuff in the building. Saturate that. Saturate that gas. Build them supply depots and drop them mules. Alright, we're at about that point where we want to think about getting our next command center. So we're going to float just a little bit and check our saturation level and get everything going this way. Alright, there we go. Let's get our third base constructing. We're going to do that somewhere like here. There we go. Alright. Now, this is the point where we are saying we can get starport and a third refinery. And we're going to build a reactor here so that we can put that on the starport. And keep dropping mules. Keep building stuff. And wait for an idle SCV. We're going to add on some more barracks now because we've got the money to do that. And our next level of upgrades. Supply. Supply. All that is really important. And there we go. We can now get our starport rocking. And we want to see if we can do double medevac production constantly off of these 3 gases. Once they're saturated, at least. Okay. Keep the marine production going. Keep the Hellbat production going. And there we go. There we go. Alright. So how's this feeling? Well, don't quite know yet until we get through a few rounds of production. There we go. Alright, Cool. We're just trying to see if we can maintain at least double medevac production.
Upgrade complete.
On that number of gases, right? Wow, control problems. Okay, that's fine. And let's get our third into position. And transfer off some of these workers. There we go. We're going to save our mules. Cool. And we're also keeping the upgrades going too. And adding on a starport. Let's just see how that goes. Alright. Our gas production, our gas economy, like we're not banking gas is what I'm saying. But we are banking minerals. So we need to add on some more production into that. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to drop our mules on our fresh expansion. Rally everything on over this way.
Additional supply, not enough
Alright,
energy.
so I feel like that actually is working out pretty well as in terms of being able to pump out our medevacs. Alright, so in addition to keeping the upgrades rolling. The upgrades probably weren't as tight as I'd really like them, and that may affect that analysis, but we were able to do double medevac production. We were able to keep our upgrades moving. So I think that the build itself is probably pretty close to what it ought to be for step 4 for us. So that begs the question as to why did we feel it was ineffective when we were using it yesterday. There's a lot of different things that it could be. And what we really need to do is just go play and pay attention to what's going wrong and pay attention to what's working. My suspicion is that because it was new, I wasn't executing very well, kind of like right now, the execution was a bit sloppy. And when the build is sloppy, I personally have a tendency to be less aggressive. Right, because I know that I'm behind my targets in the build, and so I feel like, well, I can't be aggressive because I'm behind. But that doesn't necessarily mean anything. Our opponent is a variable, so we need to go find out. And when we're staircasing, we're not really like, at this point we don't have enough flexibility in our unit compositions to really care about scouting tech choices. So all of our scouting is going to come through aggression. Right, so pre 6-7 minutes, we're basically saying to our opponent, well, whatever you're going to do for this first 6 minutes is whatever you're going to do, but we're going to go find out what you did, and we're going to have some units, and we're going to get some work done. So the focus, I think, needs to be on the aggression, and that might have to do with why I was struggling yesterday. The only way to find out is to get out there, play the game, and try this build out while we're doing step 4 of the staircase, and see how it works. If we get through a few games and we still feel like it's weak and that we could be executing better or something like that, then we'll take a step back and look at it again. Alright, so let's get on out of this custom game stuff and let's go ahead and get out on the ladder and practice our macro. Alright, down to rank 19. Oh man, that's a lot of volatility in my rank over the last day. At a high of 8. A low of probably 25 yesterday, something like that. It's just like the price of Bitcoin. We'll see where we land today. Let's see how it goes. Alright, and we're going to be looking for ways that we can maximize our effectiveness while working within the constraints of step 4 of the staircase method. And we're going to be uploading all of these ladder games to ggtracker.com, and we use the staircase view to measure our progress toward hitting our goals. My goals are to have a spending skill and saturation speeds that are platinum or above, given that my goal is to be platinum by the end of the season. And I feel like that makes sense to align your ladder goals with your staircase goals. That's the idea. Alright, Captain Ladybug, thank you for playing. We're going to do some step 4 of the staircase, and we're going to do the Incognito special build. It's not really that special. It actually looks a whole lot like a lot of standard builds. It's just the ordering and the timing are different because we're looking to maximize maximize the fact that we're focusing on macro rather than maximizing tech
Not
or
enough
anything like that.
minerals.
Alright, here we go. There's our ramp. There's our second. Sure, we'll take this third. That's fine. Whatever. We'll figure it out. Alright. Because you do have a choice of thirds. You just got to shoot down the rocks. And if you're out on the map, then it might take you a while to shoot those rocks down. Alright, don't know what my opponent is playing. Given that they were random, and given that we are staircasing, and it doesn't really matter a whole lot. There's not much that we're going to change, at least in the early phases of the game, in reaction to our opponent's race. And I'd say that that's true a lot of times. If you look at standard builds, you'll see that there are builds that overlap the matchups, right? And they might have little variations to maximize or to optimize the dynamics of the matchup itself.
Additional supply depots.
But I also feel that when we're talking at like the level of play that I'm
Not
at,
enough minerals.
it's a bit of a distraction to try to talk about those optimizations when mechanics like our macro are far
Not
more
enough minerals.
effective at this level of play, because it is the thing that is usually the most deficient as well from our opponents. I've got opponents that I'm playing in the Gold League who have the macro of Bronze League players. Alright? So, if that's the case, then I have a huge advantage in just being able to show up with lots of stuff. And it almost doesn't matter what that stuff is. And you can see this happen. What the thing that I'm talking about, you can watch happen in pro games. It's just you might not realize that that's what's happening, especially when there's like an all-in move going on after something happened, like you got put behind. A player will get put behind, and then they're gonna all in as a reaction, and they're using cost ineffective units, but they just were able to crank out enough of them just in time to be able to pull it off, right? So like, the concept happens at the pro level as well. It's just a little less
Upgrade
obvious
complete.
because of all the other awesome stuff that they are doing.
Not enough minerals.
Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and plant that SCV over there. Keep those SCVs and Marines a-coming. And we're going to take our second barracks here.
Bad news.
Yep. Way out there.
SCV ready.
Alright. So second barracks and refinery. Trying to do this by memory without referencing my notes. Right? Because if we understand what we're trying to accomplish, then, the build's going to make sense.
Gangway coming through. SCV ready.
Alright, we need a supply
Not
depot.
enough minerals.
There we go. And we need to saturate this up
SCV ready.
and get ourselves an engineering bay.
Go, go, go.
And use our mules and get our orbital. Bam, almost down to 0 minerals in that process. That was quite nice. Now we're going to be shooting up to 5 barracks and then a factory and an armory.
Not enough minerals.
And it's going to be good. Alright, you're going to hang out over here and be our eyes.
This better be SCV ready.
Get that all.
Upgrade.
There we go. We're about to get lined up here.
Want a piece of me, boy?
And
Insufficient.
there it
SCV
is.
gas.
Now let's go ahead and take our cameras off. Take our second.
Gangway coming through.
Reset our rallies. And let's work out a little transfer move here. There we go. Alright, cool. And as soon as that drops, we are going to
SCV ready. Well, Buttermouth,
drop our mules.
some help here.
And there are the roaches. Alright, awesome.
Bad news.
Let's get this production going.
Go, go, go.
Alright, things are getting wonky,
What's going on?
but we gotta do what we need to do.
Coming through. What's up?
And sometimes that means pulling the boys.
Ready.
Alright, and let's get our Marines actually shooting where we want them to shoot.
Not
Cool.
enough minerals.
Go, go, go. SCV ready. This better be good.
Not enough minerals.
We probably aren't going to survive this push.
Not enough minerals.
Gangway. Coming through. Want a piece of me, boy?
Not enough minerals.
There
Not
we go.
enough minerals.
Didn't quite have enough. We got 3 roaches that have survived.
What's up?
Not enough minerals.
You come back, and we're going to drop mules over here
Are under attack.
while our opponent is
Armed and ready.
smacking at that. Alright, because we should have some energy.
You gonna give me orders? You got it.
There we go.
Not enough under attack. Not enough minerals.
Oh,
Not
that's
enough
rough.
minerals.
So rough. So
Not
rough.
enough minerals.
GG. There it is. Felt like we were a little slow. But what really matters is if we passed. That is the thing. So we're going to go and get into ggtracker.com and upload a replay and see if we've passed or not. I think we executed a little on the slow side. And that roach timing just got the work done. And that's alright. We're okay with that. But what we really want to know is our spending skill and our saturation speed. So I'm uploading now to ggtracker.com, and I'll pull up the browser window when that is done so we can all look at it together, talk it through, and see where we have the opportunity to improve. Here we go. Alright, spending skill was good, way above my target. And second base mineral income, of course, was disrupted by that roach attack, right? So we can't call that a pass, and we can't blame our opponent. I really feel like we were behind in being able to crank out our units. Some of the timings on the barracks were, I felt, late. So we need to work on that in our next go around. Our energy usage was good. Let's see, what color are we? We're red, right? So there's a few times here, right? This chunk right here of mineral floating, it's not terrible, but I feel like it's not optimal. That's where I feel like those additional barracks got delayed. So we're gonna look at that. Does it say? Doesn't say anything about my upgrades. Alright. So, that's interesting. So many resources lost. Alright, cool. So I think we're just going to keep going with this build and get ourselves into the situation where we feel like we're executing it well. And we might lose some games along the way, and we might not hit our metrics along the way. But we can't give it the stamp of approval until we have executed well. So at the moment, we've got 1 pass and 1 fail for step 4. So we basically have reset as far as our pass-fail count is concerned. Let's get back in here. Let's go again, and let's focus on getting those barracks out on time and not letting those minerals hang out, doing nothing. I recall it was when I was taking my first upgrade. That was another instance where I felt like I was floating minerals where I didn't need to be. So we're going to keep our eyes open for that and make sure that we're spending when we can afford, which is as soon as we can afford. We've got a TVP on Overgrowth. I'm going to go ahead and make a prediction of 8-minute Colossi. That will end my army. But you never know. Anybody can do anything at any given time, as the dear old Mike Caro has once said on more than one occasion. Alright, step 4, staircasing. We've put together a little rough build order to help us through this. Our battle unit that we have chosen is the Medevac. So we're looking to be able to get constant Medevac production once we've got 5 barracks in a factory rolling. You might also go for a more tech-oriented build with this step. However, I want to leverage the macro early, which means I want lots of Marines early. And to do that, that means cranking out Marines sooner rather than later.
Additional supply depots required.
And checking around to see what's going on.
Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals.
So here's our first barracks. We're taking that at 12. It looks really standard.
Not enough minerals.
SCV ready.
Alright, so you're taking an assimilator. Okay. I'm going to let that finish. I hope you do too. That's awesome. Sweet. I'm not going to freak out because I'm going to be building barracks for a while, and that's okay. Alright, that one is a little bit more of a problem. Alright, so we're going to pull a couple of these SCVs to deal with that. Sweet. My opponent is feisty. Good cancel. Well played. Alright. You did let the assimilators finish. I hope you found that to be a worthwhile venture. Alright, there is our orbital. Let's wall this on off. Alright, I don't want to sacrifice any income on dealing with those assimilators, so I'm rallying out my Marines to deal with one of them for the time being. And as soon as we've got money for our expansion, we're going to go ahead and take that.
Upgrade complete.
Drop our... Build our SCVs. We're not going to cut SCV production to do any of this. There we go. And we're still going to crank out our Marines. Cool. And then we're going to be taking our second barracks, and hopefully we'll have a refinery finished, or hopefully have this refinery blown up in time to take, which is going to be a little behind. Right now, see how I'm floating a little bit? That's a problem. Alright, and we also need a supply depot, so we're going to go ahead and get that going on. Cool, there we go. And we're going to take our refinery. Also going to take a third barracks.
Not enough minerals.
As soon as we have the money, we're going to go ahead and get our engineering bay. Drop in mules. Alright, we're just about ready. There we go. And let us make sure we get all of our SCVs in there that we want. And there's our orbital. Awesome. Cool. So, you guys go blow this one up, because we're going to need that sooner rather than later. And
Not enough minerals.
barracks number 4. Whoops. Alright. SCVs,
Upgrade
Marines,
complete.
and I'm trying to make sure that I've got enough resources for starting my upgrades.
Coming through.
Yep. All right.
SCV ready. Go, go, go.
Cool. There we go.
Gangway. Coming through.
There we go. And let's get this fifth barracks happening.
SCV ready.
And as soon as we can, we're going to get a factory.
Want a piece of me, boy?
Unacceptable landing zone.
This better be good.
There we go. Drop the mules.
Not enough energy.
Check our saturation. Get our factory.
Hear me.
A little late on the factory. Spend our minerals.
Ready.
Gas required.
Drop our
Not
mules.
enough energy.
Build a supply depot. Rally. Alright. Reset our camera and our rally. Here we go. Time to get out on the
Additional
map.
supply depots
Go.
required.
Alright, what's going on? We need supply. So we got an SCV over there. It's going to be building supply. We got behind, and that's going to hurt our macro. And,
Big job.
alright, so
What's going on?
we are
Additional supply depots required.
going to now get our armory
Additional supply depots required.
and build another supply depot. Build another supply depot. And another supply depot. Alright, cool. +1 is just about finished. We're going to add on another engineering bay
Upgrade complete.
and
Additional supply depots required.
refinery, reactor, starport, as soon as we have the gas. Alright, we also are floating tons of minerals again, so we're going to paint with some barracks. There we go. Now let's get up here and see what's going on. We've got +1 on these Marines.
You gonna get SCV ready.
Try to snipe this mothership core. That's great. Let's move on back out. Cool. Now we're going to take the rest of these Marines and take this position on the map. We're going to go back in for another attack. Now that our opponent does not have a MoShip Co.
Complete.
And we're going to keep our upgrades
Insufficient
rolling
Vespene gas.
as soon as we have the ability to do that.
SCV ready.
Alright.
Gangway.
I feel like our spending is a bit on the wonky side,
Bad news. In the rear.
so we're going to try to correct that.
Ready.
We're going to get ourselves a third
Going on.
base happening, and a tech lab, and lots of reactors.
Insufficient Vespene gas.
Alright, now we're going to do that follow-up attack. Keep our macro going.
Been waiting on you. Can't wait.
Alright. There's our attack.
Add-on complete.
There's some hallucinated Colossus.
Want a piece of me, boy?
We're going to rally on out aggressively.
SCV ready.
Not
All right.
enough energy.
This better be good.
Keep building supply depots.
Complete.
Yep.
Keep getting upgrades.
Not enough minerals.
And
Vespene
you need that third refinery. We're late on that.
Not enough minerals.
Alright. Gonna get combat shields.
Gangway. Coming through.
Not enough minerals.
We're gonna give this a control group
Not enough minerals.
and check on our third, which isn't done yet.
Not enough minerals. Not enough minerals.
Alright. Oh, oversaturated over here. We need to correct that. Alright. Convert and mule drop.
Not enough energy.
Grab a few more and get them over here. Get these supply depots building. Just making a fat wall. It's gonna be hard to bust that down.
Not enough minerals.
Alright. We would like some medevacs.
Upgrade.
SCV ready. This better be good.
Alright, float that on out there. And we've got our third ready to roll, so let's go ahead and get that on its way. We're also going to take some of these SCVs and move them on over and keep our production happening.
SCV ready.
Alright, we're going to take a Marine and poke them on over this way to see if we've got third bases happening or not.
Research complete.
Cool. Alright.
SCV ready.
How are we doing on upgrades? Upgrades are good. Let's start STEM.
Go ahead.
And let's get some more barracks happening.
Yep. SCV ready.
Oh, there we go.
Big job. Man the rear.
Ready for dust off.
Roger. We could use some help here. Negatory. It's locked.
Alright, still no third from my opponent, and we're going to drop our mules on our fresh
Mineral
base
field, not enough energy.
and get more medevacs happening. And
Upgrade complete.
let's see, more Marines, of course.
Not enough minerals.
Alright, let's add on our new fresh racks
Been waiting on you. Huh? What's going on?
and get some SCVs going over here.
Go ahead.
Sweet. Oh, we still don't have this fully saturated.
For dust off.
We're going to do that now. And get everything rallying off this way. Now,
Mineral field
let's
depleted.
go ahead and get our attack happening.
Insufficient rescue
SCV
gas.
ready.
There it is.
This better be good. SCV ready.
Upgrade.
And we're doing pretty good. This might be game winning right here.
SCV ready.
And get all these guys building some barracks. Go back to the battle.
SCV boy. SCV ready.
Get them Dark Templars down. We've always got answers.
Research complete.
We've got STEM. There it is. Alright. Keep the upgrades going when you can.
Dust off.
You want a piece of me, boy? You gonna give me your by the numbers, boys. This better be good.
Ready for dust off.
Gangway.
Mineral field depleted.
Get the DTs. Oh yeah.
Additional supply depots required. Mineral field. Additional supply depots required.
There we go. Awesome. Gotta say that was a little better on executing that time. Let's see how our stats were. I think my spending skill was a little on the low side, but we'll see. I also might have been a little bit behind on my third base saturation speed. That's my guess. So we need to go find out for certain and see how that goes. All right. So we're going to upload our replay to ggtracker.com, and once we do that, we'll bring it up in stream so we can all look at it together and see if we've got ourselves a pass or a fail. I'm borderline. My feeling is borderline right now. Alright. Alright, spending skill was actually good. Okay. There we go. Spending skill, bam. Spent them monies. Alright, let's look at the economy. Bam! Alright. I guess all my feelings were invalid. Invalid emotions. Alright, so we're going to mark down a pass. So we now got 2 passes and 1 fail for step 4 of the staircase method. And we're using a little build we put together yesterday, trying to practice executing it better. At certain moments it looks like a very standard build. 5 barracks, a factory, and a starport. Let's see, how was my energy usage? Energy usage was fantastic. Okay. Any big moments of banking? Yeah, we had a big moment right there. And then I think I painted with barracks and took care of that problem. And, whoa, spiking up at 91 APM. Oh my. That's funny. Alright. So, let's move on. Let's get ourselves in another game and see if we can't bust out a couple more passes at step 4 using this build. And see where the afternoon takes us. Alright. So we've worked through, just as a little recap, we worked through a build for step 3. We added on some stuff to that build for step 4 of the staircase method. And we're getting closer and closer to what looks like standard Terran builds. Not there quite yet, and we are giving a focus on early macro, pumping out Marines. Like we're getting 5 barracks before we get a factory. We're focusing all of our gas into upgrades before that. As much gas as we can, anyway. And there's a lot of room for optimization in this. And we're not going there yet, right? We've worked out the basic framework, and for the most part, there seems to be some really intuitive timings in it. And, of course, we've got lots of Marines opening up out of the gate, too. So as long as we don't encounter heavy splash damage, we've been doing pretty good. When behind Dark Shrine. Didn't really work out too well, though. Now, if those Dark Templar would have been in a warp prism on the other side of the map, things might have been a little different. Here we go. We've got a TVT on Catalina. Moscow, thank you for playing. Please don't build any tanks. My Marines will love you for it. Oops, caps.
SCV ready.
Alright, time to set the cameras. Let's get that underway. There we go. And really, I need a mouse surface because on this desk, sometimes my mouse just like moves.
SCV ready.
Just moves. Alright, so we're going to do some things that look pretty standard. No, I'm looking for optimal saturation in Nanus 303, which is 16.
Ready.
I oversaturated those bases in the last game. And tried to transfer them away once I realized the issue was present.
SCV ready.
The effectiveness of each SCV after the 16th is diminished, so they're better. The minerals that would be building SCVs at that point are better spent on an expansion,
Not enough minerals.
which is generally what goes on. What happens when I staircase? Because it's right about 13 or so SCVs on the mineral line that I start thinking about building that next command center.
SCV ready.
13 on the freshest. Alright, so what are we doing? Oh yeah, we're waiting for our barracks so we can get an orbital command, and then we're going to get our expo.
SCV ready.
Moscow is slowing down the game. Oh no. What is this?
SCV ready.
Alright, and we're going to get our orbital. There's a little delay because we don't have the little timing difference from an early refinery, like in a Reaper fast expand, for example. We get out an early Marine just for safety. Just going to take one. I mean, we could be dealing with super fast Banshee plane, and in that case, we're probably just going to die. That's alright. And here we go. Get
Upgrade.
that mule, get that SCV, get that second command center. See, right around 13 mining SCVs, as I mentioned. Alright, well, this is a Terran, so we're going to go put a Marine over there. Keep up our marine production. Here's our second barracks. Here's our first refinery. Alright, and
In the rear with the
we're going to build a
gear.
supply depot over here as well as a little
Negatory. It's
as
locked.
a little scouting apparatus.
Want some?
There we go. Oh, can't drop production though.
Huh? What's going on?
And saturate that gas. Get our third barracks. And as soon as we can afford an engineering bay, we're going to get it.
SCV ready.
SCVs. Cool, cool. Marines. Cool.
SCV ready.
And engineering bay.
Yep.
Alright, now we're going to be going up to 5
Not
barracks,
enough minerals.
factory, and armory.
SCV ready.
Dropping the mule.
This better be good.
Getting the orbital as soon as we can.
Not enough minerals.
There it is.
Not enough minerals.
Alright.
SCV ready. Gangway coming through. Been waiting on you.
Keeping our Marines sort of in a central location. And there's our +1 attack. There we go. And as soon as we have... Oop, fallen-
Not enough
we need to get our
minerals.
barracks production going here. There we go. This is feeling a lot tighter already. Alright, second base. Time to land. Here we go. Rally out this way. Keep the SCVs going.
SCV ready.
Set the rally point again, and now we're going to get our 5th barracks.
Hear me.
There it is. Drop the mule and get our factory.
Ready, SCV boy.
Not enough minerals.
Drop the mules on the
Not
fresh
enough
base.
energy.
Transfer some workers. We didn't do that earlier.
Not enough
All right.
minerals.
Set our new camera right there. That's fine. Alright, how are we doing on supply?
Gangway coming through.
Alright,
SCV
cool.
ready.
Awesome. Marines. And what's next? Armory.
SCV ready. Want some?
Second engineering bay. And second refinery.
Armed and ready.
Alright, we're going to go start to get out onto the map.
Go, go, go.
And you know what we're going to do? We are going to get ourselves a turret for safety's sake.
Big job, huh?
We're going to get 2 of them. It's going to set behind some of our stuff here. But not too badly.
SCV ready.
There's the armory. There's the second NG bay. There's the second refinery. There's
Additional
Marines.
supply depots required.
And there's supply block.
Upgrade complete.
Alright. Cool.
Additional
We've got
supply
enough
depots
for this
required.
reactor
Not enough
and a
minerals.
starport.
Yeah. What's going on?
Alright, cool.
Additional supply depots required.
We're behind on supply once again. Let's go ahead and get that sorted out. Now that we're on the map, let's figure out where our opponent is. We'll go ahead and just do a little thing like that and drop our mules on our
Not
fresh
enough
expo.
energy.
Let's check our saturation. We missed our gas timing.
Depots required.
Alright, let's get our next set of
Add-on
upgrades
complete.
Armed and ready.
as soon as we got the gas for it. We also need to get our third refinery.
Help here. Ready.
Alright, cool. Let's go see what's going on over here. And get our medevac production rolling. Check on the gas over here. It's not done yet.
Gangway.
Not enough energy.
By the numbers, boys.
Alright, let's go see.
Been waiting on you. SCV ready.
Awesome.
You want a piece of me, boy?
Additional supply depots required. Insufficient. Additional supply depots required.
SCV ready.
Additional supply depots required.
Alright, we need to take care of this.
Additional supply depots required.
They've got stim. That's cool. Alright, we're floating hard. We need to take care of that.
Who wants some? Your boss.
Get some upgrades going. Get this gas saturated.
Could use some help here.
Ready for dust off.
Armed and ready. SCV ready.
GG! There we go. I feel like my spinning skill probably was really bad in that game. Given that I ended it with 1,400 minerals. But maybe. Maybe we passed, maybe we didn't. Woo! Alright. That was exciting. No tanks. Loving it. Alright. Let's get this uploaded and let's check how we did. That early stim though was it's a good thing I attacked when I did. That's what I'm trying to say. It's a good thing I attacked when I did. Alright, upload is taking a minute. In the meantime, we've got our Slinky friend. Slinkies are awesome. This Slinky has endured many a decade. Many a decade. It might be the world's oldest functional metal Slinky that was actually in use by a child for many years. It's quite possible. And that child would have been me. Alright, okay. Okay, let's bring this up. Spending skill was at my target. Okay? So, it was bad, but not as bad as I thought that it might have been. And our saturation speeds were spot on the mark. Alright, anything else that's interesting going on here? Not yet. Energy use was perfect. Great. Cool. We got ourselves another pass. So, let's get that marked down. And you know, let's take just a second to talk about why that worked. It's just Marines with some upgrades, but I had more Marines than my opponent, despite the fact that my opponent had better technology in terms of having 2 medevacs ready to go. I just had too many Marines, and they weren't even all in the battle, right? I still had quite an army at home just hanging out. And I probably had medevacs at home just hanging out by that point. I'm trying to see here. Yeah, my opponent's second base didn't come down until 9 minutes and 30, and basically it looks like I blew it up within the first minute of its life. There was no SCVs working on it when I got there. Right, so you know, my opponent was clearly struggling with the macro aspect of the game, and had their macro been cranking a little bit, that tech would have been able to get a whole lot of work done on my very low tech army, because it was just Marines when I attacked. I did have medevacs to follow up, so I don't know. It could have been in a game. It could have been a game, but at least it could have been a game, and this is why I am so harpy. I'm a harpy. Oh man. If you see me flying through the woods and throwing darts, then I really am a harpy. But I harp on macro because I'm down here in the Gold League. I was stuck in bronze for a while. I got through silver over the course of a season. And we're shooting for platinum. Okay, so no, I am not the highest skilled player in the world, but I can tell you this, is that as that person who isn't, the thing that is the most nebulous or the difficult to understand about this game is the importance of macro, and also how to actually macro, how to macro. And it wasn't until finding the staircase method that those questions started to become answered. And, that was even after watching all the Day 9 I could, watching Winter, all that stuff. The macro was lost on me. And by that I meant the details of what it meant to macro. And that's something that we're working on now, and our play has improved dramatically because of it. And I would say that my macro is better than most of the people I'm playing against at this level, and it's the reason I win games at this level. It's not because I have any micro skill at all. I have like none. It's not because I use superior positioning. My positioning is pretty terrible. I will take bad trades in bad positions all the time. My positioning is terrible. My micro is pretty terrible. Strategy, right? I generally don't spend a whole lot of brain cycles thinking about much of the strategy in the actual game. Sometimes I do, but it's not right now. It's not my strong point, and it's not my opponent's either. That's the thing about Gold League, is that you'll have an opponent that like has some decent micro, but bad macro, or bad strategy, or bad game sense, right? Or maybe they have great macro, and like me, like my macro can at times be really good, but struggle with their micro, right? So sometimes that's where the difficulties in the matchups for me is the sort of clash of skills. But my point here is that I really think that we need to, as a community of players that are in a position to influence new players coming in, I think that we need to do everything we can to encourage them to practice macro. And it's also a lot of fun. Making lots of stuff and marching a big army across the map is just plain fun. It's not high-minded, it's not intellectual, it's not super skilled, but it is fun. And I'm trying to do my part in that process to preach the gospel of macro everywhere that I can. And then once our mechanics as new players or underdeveloped players, once our mechanics through practicing macro are better, transitioning into a micro-oriented playstyle is going to be a lot easier. Transitioning into positioning play is going to be easier because we're going to have army to back up those good positioning. Transitioning into a very fast-paced multi-prong attack playstyle, whatever the playstyle happens to be that you adopt. I don't have a playstyle yet. My playstyle is trying to figure out how to play the game right now. That's my playstyle. It's not where I want to be. I really like multi-prong attack play. I like run-by plays. I like splitting the attention of my opponent. I like being very aggressive and arrogant with my positioning. I like containing, right? Incorporating all of that kind of stuff into a play style ultimately is my goal, is I want to be able to express the way I approach a game through the mechanics. And right now, it's just I need to understand the mechanics. And I think that a lot of people, and regardless of where they're at in the ladder, actually, are still in that process, and we can do things to help direct toward that foundation, that backbone of the game, which is the macro game. Even when you're doing something that somebody would call cheese, there's macro skills involved in keeping your cheese effective. When you're massing reapers, if you're dropping production cycles, your mass reaper play isn't going to work. If you don't have a follow-up, the work that you did may not have been enough, and now you've got no follow-up. Right? You don't have to outright win all the time, but you need a follow-up, and having a follow-up involves having macro skill and being able to split your attention between your attacks and your infrastructure and all of that stuff. So, I really, really, really need to take a break. So I'm going to do that, and it's not going to be very long, but we will take a break. I think I'm actually going to shut down the stream, because basically we're concluding the episode of Brain and Body, and then I'll come back for more streaming just to get on the ladder and to do more staircasing, because this is the week of macro, and I'm playing catch up with my skills. So that's the plan. I'm going to shut down the stream, so you'll get a notification when I'm back online. It won't be very long. Thanks for hanging out and asking questions. It's been great fun, and I'm glad that you guys are finding this useful and entertaining. And when I come back, I will hit the ladder and wreck some face with that macro practice. All right, take it easy for now.